Excellent. So we'll do a quick roll call. We are meeting remotely, as is still allowed by Mass General Law. And we will do a roll call to make sure everyone's here. Myself, I'm present. Meg?
Present, I'm here.
Bernie?
Present.
Ken?
Here, and I will step off for just a second because I have to change computers. So
No worries.
pardon me. I will be right back.
No problem. Andy?
Here.
Raphael? You there, Raphael?
I don't see him.
This is right why we do this. It looks like camera. I see his icon, but I don't see him. And his camera's off. We do still have a quorum. And we will hopefully. Can you log out and rejoin, maybe, Raphael? I don't know if that would help.
He may have stepped away.
Yeah. So I guess we'll just get started with the minutes and public comment, and then I'll move back to Raphael after that. So Andy, thank you for writing the minutes. Did everyone get a chance to look at those?
Yep.
Excellent. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Seconded. Okay, we'll go with voting. Myself, I'm an aye. Meg?
I wasn't there, so I abstain,
Okay. Bernie?
but they looked
Yes.
great. I was happy.
Andy?
Yes.
And are you back, Ken?
I'm back. Do I need to abstain because I wasn't there?
And you
I
don't
don't
need
know.
to. It's your choice.
Yeah, I approve.
Great. Excellent.
I can approve too.
Okay, sounds good. I guess that's a unanimous vote in favor of the minutes. So public comment, I don't see any attendees, so no public comment. Raphael, it looks like he logged off, so hopefully he'll rejoin here in a minute. We still do have a quorum, but I'll keep my eye on the attendees. I have not heard from Marcus. Erica is sick and is absent tonight, which is fine. And I just wanted to publicly say before we begin discussing the report, thank you to both Ken and Erica, who's not here. Erica, if you watch the recording, thank you for all your work on the initial report. It is quite a lengthy document, and it's great that so much work was put into it so quickly, and we're making progress, so I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, ditto.
And we will move on with the outreach subcommittee update. Is Raphael here? Nope. Meg, do you want to give that update?
I don't think we've met since the last meeting. I'm continuing to try to create the outreach database. I'm eager to schedule the public forum as soon as I'm the one on the committee who's been doing that kind of scheduling and database creating, but I haven't heard the okay to go ahead and do that, like a date and the location. The Bank Center is the only place that's free, although it's not available on weekends. But so once we're ready for me to, that's why I'm interested in the timeline, because I think if we can anticipate when we want that, we can book it whenever we feel confident about the date.
Great.
But we're heading into the holiday season.
Yep.
I'm just eager to make sure that we can do what we need to do in the time we have.
Absolutely. Andy, any feedback subcommittee update?
No, we
Wait,
have not met.
Do we have a minute taker?
Oh, thank you. Yes. Minute taker
Sorry
for this. Yep.
Sorry to
nope,
interrupt.
That's fine. Don't worry about it at all. Thank you for chiming in. Minute taker for this meeting is Bernie.
Okay.
Great.
Got it.
And the only other thing I was going to add is I saw your email, Meg. Did Ken answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, great.
About what?
About the outreach.
Yes.
timeline.
Well, not yet. No. Not yet.
Okay. I will.
I just sent it a little while ago, so.
Yeah, I
Okay,
just saw
yeah.
your email. Did
Okay.
Ken answer it at the beginning of the meeting?
I didn't I have not seen the email, whatever it's
Okay.
about. I
I
don't
think
see one.
Meg asked a question about if there's a timeline.
Oh, that question.
The answer is yes, there is, but it's not up to date, if you will.
It's, yeah, I think her question was, I mean, my answer was yes, there's in the initial report, there was something we need to talk about, is the timeline that we agreed upon several meetings ago. But it's already out of date somewhat. It's not completely out of date, but there are some things we need to adjust on it. Because we want
And-
to share that in the initial report with the council to give them some
Great.
grounding, some grounding ideas that we're still working on this.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question, Meg?
Well, yeah, my feeling is we need to have an internal timeline. That means if this is when we're going to get things produced publicly, what do we have to do on our committee to make that happen?
Yeah, that's
You know,
Okay, great. And I'm just noting, I also saw your email, Andy, about, I don't think it ended up getting posted in the packet, but about the Collins Center feedback. That was posted in the packet for last meeting. However, the most recent thing they sent about proposed language for municipal and school employees was not sent in the packet. So some people may have seen that, some people may not have, but we won't discuss that tonight because it's not in the packet. However, because the other feedback was in the previous packet, everybody should have access to that if you go to the website and just look at the packet from our previous meeting. So we can discuss that. Raphael, you've joined us. Can we hear you?
Hello, everyone.
Great, thank you, Raphael, and we're glad to have you. Do you have anything to add to outreach?
No,
Subcommittee? Nope, great. So we will move on. We're making decent progress. To our first agenda item.
did we finish with the feedback committee?
Yes, Andy didn't
we
have
have done that, so.
So we will amend and hopefully tonight approve the initial report. Does everybody have it pulled up, or would you like me to screen share?
Could you
Please,
screen share?
please screen share.
Absolutely.
I'll need to point some things out.
And I'm hoping everyone has reviewed this previously. I
So
know
am
I
I.
did.
Yeah.
And I'll let you take it away, Ken. Just a reminder that we hope to vote tonight. And before we vote, just for a process, we'll have some discussion. And if folks have amendments, they can move to make amendments. We vote on the amendments, and then we vote for the entire thing approved with those amendments that we approved. Go ahead, Ken.
Can you, Julian, please actually not show this yet and
Oh, okay.
show, it's probably called initial report draft?
Yep, right there.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent. I'm just
Okay.
gonna full screen it out so you can actually see it.
So the only things that need to be discussed are in yellow. The submission date will take care of itself. Once we know what that is. And maybe the only yellow stuff will, yeah. I thought it was important to know when we hired Collins Center to give people a sense of how long they've been working with us. Julian, do you know?
Yep, that was in January. I can give you an exact date, but we moved to hire them in January, and I believe we signed the contract late January, early February.
Okay, yeah, I'm not that particular about the date. If you want to give me the date, I would love to have it, but
Great.
I will not hold my breath necessarily because
Yep.
it's not that important.
Yeah, if you want to
but-
put late January, that's fine. If I can also just email you the date,
Thank you.
looking back in my emails.
Perfect. Thank
Yep.
you. I appreciate it.
Great.
So, I mean, we must be doing something right, because if it's down to something so specific like that, then we're doing okay. So keep scrolling down. I don't think we have anything else on this next page. I think we're all feeling good about it. Yeah, keep going.
Mhm. There we
And
go.
there's the timeline.
There's the last of it.
Because the preliminary report was going to be sent today. So we're one report behind.
Yep.
The 1/5/26 submit final report, that stays the way it is. Everything else is up for discussion. I really think this is an important part of this of the initial report. Both Eric and I do, because we really want to ground the council that because of the feedback that I think we all saw at the last meeting when they discussed our extension, there's some tension there that I'm not interested I'm not interested in increasing that tension or the pressure on us. So
No kidding. There's a good idea.
so when can we realistically get that preliminary report out? I guess is the first question. And maybe that's not my discussion to lead, but I think we need to have this fleshed out.
And to project forward a little, so we're anticipating. Sorry, raise my hand.
Yes,
go ahead.
Meg, go right ahead. Just raise your hand and we can discuss.
So not only what date do we think we'll get the preliminary report out, but triggering then going forward, when do we want to have the outreach meeting? And obviously we have to schedule that ahead
Yeah,
of time and so on.
so the spread between those two things in our previous timeline was about 2 weeks. So once the preliminary
Right.
report comes out, we should give the world 2 weeks before we meet about it.
Right, but if we're confident we can get it out on date X, right now we could schedule that for 2 weeks, date X plus 2 weeks.
Exactly.
We don't have to wait.
No, we shouldn't. That should be sent into, the ball should start rolling once we set
Yeah.
that preliminary report release date.
And also other ways we want to get input from, the list that we've been creating and so on, and Sam Giffen and so on.
I just want to chime in about the date. I just checked my email. I was incorrect. The date is March 10th, 2025.
For the Collins Center?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
thank
Wow.
you. March 10th. Thank you.
Yep. Just jot that down.
Yep, got it.
Um,
So, sorry, let me go backwards a little bit to understand what exactly needs to be done. My understanding of what needs to be done based on being an author of the initial report. The preliminary report to me, and please correct me. The preliminary report is, at its most simplest, is to add the rest of the Collins feedback and to update that list. The history doesn't really change. The history that's in the initial report doesn't change. The outreach committee charge and none of that stuff is going to change. Really, it could, but it probably won't. So I think that's what how the preliminary report is going to be different from the initial report? Question mark? Or do people see that we have to do more with the preliminary report?
Yeah, that sounds pretty reasonable to me. I would think that we may want to dive into the suggestions under consideration and prune that list down a little further. I
Okay,
mean, some of these can, based on what we get back from the Collins Center, some of these will probably go. I think the other thing that we want to do in the preliminary report is spell out exactly where we want the town attorney to review the entire document, but we might want to highlight suggestions under consideration that really need the town attorney's feedback soon. I have a lot of respect for KP Law, but in the past, sometimes they're not quite timely. So we want to get that to them as fast as we can.
Andy and then Meg. You're muted, Andy.
I was just going to look at the charts to see what we're supposed to include with the preliminary report, but I'm thinking we should have language, proposed language, or is that in the final only? I haven't looked at it lately.
We're hoping to have proposed language in the preliminary report. Is the goal for these amendments.
So that would then, at that point, these become not just a list of suggestions, but it's more like
Proposals.
the recommendations that we're sending along, right?
I would say that like we have concrete proposals that are worded, and then by the final report, we have those concrete proposals reviewed by the entire committee, KP Law, etc. So the council knows if we pass this with this exact wording, it's done.
Yeah, I guess
Rather-
my question is, do we need to go through the list again with the input from Collins Center and decide and turn these into, you know, and decide which ones stay on and which ones go, or turn them into final language
Yes,
Yes.
for the preliminary?
yes.
The answer to your question is most definitely yes.
So we need to make sure we have a nice chunk of time to do that.
Yep.
Okay.
Meg and then Raphael.
So these things that Andy's raising and the question of how long will KP Law take are exactly what I'm talking about when I say an internal timeline, like our internal timeline in order to meet the one we've given publicly in terms of producing things. That's what I'm talking. I just wanted to say that as an example of what I'm talking about.
Well, sorry, I didn't raise my hand, but sorry, Raphael, are you still hand raised?
Yeah, it is. Do you mind
Okay,
if I
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
So,
Sorry.
I think I'm reading it now and it says proposed language presented in preliminary report, but it also says with comparison, I'll read it. So the preliminary report with recommended changes to the charter, also showing a comparison of all proposed changes to the present language in the charter.
Wow. Ta-da.
Okay.
I was also going to share, like, in terms of timing, like folks referenced KP Law, Collins. I think we also should think about, and I know there's tension there about the public opportunity to weigh in. So it'd be great to talk about that a bit. And I don't know if we want to include the timeline also includes, like, we need a public forum on the preliminary report.
Yeah,
Right.
the public forum is as we agreed upon last time with this timeline was going to be 2 weeks after the release of the preliminary report.
Okay.
And I wanted to add on to that, Raphael, that since I am like, I can't be more committed to the 1/5/26 final report submission date. I'm just like, I'm a hardcore about it. So we've got to talk about the preliminary report and the final report in this conversation.
Yeah.
My understanding, sort of to go off of your comment, was that my understanding of the preliminary between the difference between the preliminary report and the final report is that I would hope a big influx of feedback on the preliminary
Right.
report. But that's the big defining thing.
And-
The outreach committee can meet as well. The feedback committee can meet as well. We adjust the final report for that reason, but that's
I
my
was just-
understanding.
Gonna add, I think the other difference is that it would be reviewed by legal counsel.
Okay.
But yes.
But when? Yeah.
Andy, do you have oh, you're muted.
I'm just trying to figure out the steps here. We get this chart of stuff and the narrative and a list of the, you know, suggestions out as our initial report. And then we get the final report or the final input from Collins on the rest of the suggestions that we've sent them. And then we need to look at that, I guess, and say, well, what are they saying about these suggestions? And then figure out what we want to do with them in response, right? And then
Thank you.
we produce a revised list based on voting or based on our discussions. And then we make that list is what goes into the preliminary. And then we release the preliminary. So whatever time that takes to get the stuff back, you know, we still haven't gotten the final stuff from Collins. So we're hoping to get that by our next meeting. So maybe at our next meeting, we need to be looking at the list and saying, go through the Collins, responses and say, what does this make us, think about these various suggestions? And then when do we take it to the public? Do we give it our best shot and then make that the preliminary, and then we have the big feedback on the preliminary, or do we have the feedback on the list of suggestions now and what's missing and whatever? I don't know. I'm not clear on that.
And this is the timeline. Whoops, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say that's really up to the committee, but I would suggest on the preliminary because that's what the charge suggests. But
So we get the feedback from them on the preliminary.
Yes.
Okay.
Meg, did you still have a question? Or
Yeah,
did you?
well, I think we might want to consider when we do this internal timeline to get to here to what we have to do. We might have to have some additional meetings. Not that I want to, but I, like Ken, am really eager to have this over by the end of the year.
Yeah,
And I don't see how we're possibly going to do that. Where it's
I agree.
how
I
it's
think it
going,
would be better
how it's
to
going
have-
right now. That's not going to happen unless we put in place a more rapid. We all
I agree.
commit to sort
I'll
of
move- I'll
Yeah.
make the motion that at least for this, that we meet weekly until the end of the year.
Second.
Okay. Do we have a vote on that?
Well, if we need to.
Yeah,
But
that's
that we
I-
open
we
the
need to.
the possibility that we plan on that. I mean, we could,
Yeah.
not
If
meet
by
on
some
Thanksgiving.
miraculous
Thanksgiving's on a Thursday. but-
word of God, we finish early, and we'll
We
stop.
can, no, but it's, I
Um,
think we should plan on it.
That's what I'm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll bring the stuffing, Meg.
Okay, I'll bring the cranberries. I have a really great cranberry recipe.
But could I offer that we
Yes.
don't meet until we get the feedback from the Collins Center? Because I don't think we need to until we get that, right?
Let me see my calendar here. So I guess we could clarify the dates. We would have not a meeting on the 6th, a meeting on the 13th, a meeting on the 20th, and then a meeting on the 4th, 11th, 18th, and then we'd also skip Christmas and skip Thanksgiving. Those would be the 2 days off.
What a
You all need to form a union against me. I'm a pretty awful boss here.
no, I'm agreeing.
Are you the boss? Are you the boss? Yeah.
No, be the boss. I mean, I want to
You're
get
not
this,
the boss.
I want to
I
get
heard
this
a
done,
coup.
and I'm willing to work harder for a while and just do it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I
We
agree.
Yeah.
just have to. We
Yeah.
want to, and the world wants us to.
Yeah, read the comment
The little
section
world
in
of
the indie.
Amherst.
Yep, there. Yep. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. I'll have us vote on the motion for the meeting dates set out with those two exceptions, starting meeting on the 13th.
Do we need to check with Athena?
Yes, we should.
Oh.
Athena, are you there?
Good call.
Nope, Athena left, but I'll
Okay,
email
well,
her.
Let's set them up and then we can, Julie, you can refine things as you hear back from Athena.
Just tell her
Yes,
we're sure she does not want to be meeting next February.
And
yes, exactly.
the-
Okay,
all the turkey
so,
season,
To
turkey
vote on
roasts.
this, which will help us make our timeline, I'm an I. Meg,
Hi,
Bernie,
Yes,
Raphael,
Yes, but I'm not sure I could make all those meetings.
that's fine. Ken, Andy,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes, yes.
great. So that gives us some timeline. Could we make the preliminary report due to our committee to have us approve the preliminary report by the 20th
of November?
of November? Yes.
Wow.
Or do we want to do the 4th of
Well-
December?
So we hopefully have the feedback by the 13th. So we
Right.
can discuss the feedback on the 13th, and then if we need to on the 20th, and then we can let it go, I guess, right?
That
If
would
we
be
don't do
my
it,
hope.
if we don't do it till the 4th of December, give out the preliminary report, and then the public thing is 2 weeks later. That's the 18th of December.
Yeah, that won't work.
Then we don't
That's
have
why-
any time to write the
that's-
final report.
That's why it won't work. So that's
No,
why
but
I'm
we have to
suggesting
work faster now.
that's why I'm suggesting the 20th
Yeah.
rather than the 4th.
I like it.
Unless it's impossible.
I mean, it seems like I understand people might say that's too quick, but that's why I'm suggesting the 20th, not the 4th. So, do we have to vote on that, or do we just agree as a committee? Thumbs? Okay,
fine.
great. So that will give us our new date for the preliminary report. Outreach meeting would be on December 4th.
Got it. So
Great.
I'm gonna, sorry,
Yep,
shall
go
I
ahead.
wait to schedule that? Erica isn't here and
Nope.
Raphael's, but to schedule it, to see how we succeed with our
I
November
would start
20th?
now. I
Okay,
would start
no
now.
problem.
Thank you. New date, I would send over the Thanksgiving break, I'll send KP Law what we have. And we'll have the stuff from Collins by that point. And I'm just looking on here, draft report with feedback, or draft final report with feedback. Let's push that to the 11th. With a final vote on the 18th, a week to edit it. We could schedule one additional meeting by the end of the year to submit it. Does that make sense?
Ay, ay, ay.
Okay.
Sorry,
Um,
Julian,
yes.
sorry.
Yes.
What was the last, I got preliminary report submitted on the 20th. Outreach meeting on the 4th of December.
Mhm.
Draft final report with the preliminary report feedback on the 11th. Was there something else that was just added?
Approve the final report on the 18th. And ideally send it to the council by the 5th. And if needed, schedule a meeting sometime on the winter, basically between Christmas and New Year's, if needed. I.e. that Monday or Tuesday.
All right, I'm gonna leave that bit out of the initial report.
Yep.
I totally agree with it. It's not a comment on it.
Yep.
It's just, I'm not gonna like throw that out there.
I agree. I
publicly.
agree.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Make us look good.
And-
Meg?
I'm gonna wait to, I'll schedule the December 4th-ish event, but I'm gonna wait to say anything publicly about it until we're 100% sure we're gonna meet our,
Yes, but
11:20
start
deadline.
scheduling now is what
Yeah.
I would recommend, given how difficult it was last time. Start scheduling now, and if you need my help on it, please send me an
Okay,
email or a
thank you.
text. Yep. Okay. Is this helpful, Ken? Is this what you need?
This was all that was missing and needed a discussion. So
Excellent.
I have no other comments about this initial report.
Great. Do we want to go through this cover sheet or the suggestions at all, Ken? Do you have anything?
I mean, sorry, this was, I mean, I looked it over. This was Erica's territory. I think that because I asked her, it's not on this page, it's on page 3, I bet. I can see page 3 has a red area. I think she said that was something that needed to be discussed on
Okay.
page 3 of this one.
Yeah. This is 3. I'm just seeing that this says that it looks a little bit different just because this is for the resident members suggestion, whereas the language changes that appear here are not the resident members.
Yeah, this is the language.
yeah.
This is actually because we're saying move section 5.5B to 2.8. This, what the resident members language is actually at 5.5B right now.
Right.
And so this is the language from 2.8, which is, it's not relevant. We need to.
Yeah,
take
so
that
this
out.
is incorrect.
Yeah.
So I'll make the motion to amend this with the 5.5, is it 5.5? 5,
5.5B, I believe.
thank you. Yep, 5.5B. Hey, at least I got the 5.5.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll move to amend this with 5.5 rather than this, and remove the voting. Were we providing voting rights? We may have.
It's, yeah, it's, I mean, it's up for grabs, so I think it's still in.
Okay, yeah. So we will. I'm going to make the motion to approve this with 5.5B included. Do I have a second?
I just, before we,
Yep.
could we just walk through it? Because I think maybe
Yep.
there was a few things that could be
Yeah.
changed, and that could be one motion to change them all.
Okay, great. That makes
Thank
sense.
you. Appreciate that.
Yep.
Just
Yeah,
starting at
here's
the
another
top,
red.
maybe.
Here's some red.
And I,
Yeah, but
yeah,
I-
I'm,
I mean,
Sorry.
I read. Sorry,
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead. Bernie and then Andy.
Yeah, I just wanted to say if the color coding is going to be part of the interim report or the preliminary report
No.
here. No, it's, well, okay.
No.
Because I was gonna say, if you're gonna leave the color coding in there, you need an explanation at the bottom.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, it's
It'll,
this,
it'll go.
Erica
Okay.
wanted to
Flag.
discuss and get rid of the color coding.
It'll go.
Okay,
Andy.
yeah, I mean, I sort of read through it, and there's just, you know, some of it's formatting stuff, and some of it's just like little clarifications. If we could just sort of go from the top.
Yeah, sure. That's fine. Yep,
Mine.
that's totally acceptable. Let me just get there.
Can you make it a tiny bit bigger?
Yes, I can.
Yay, perfect.
Thank
Is
That's
that
you.
good.
better, Meg?
Yeah, thank you.
Great. Okay. I'll just scroll and people tell me when to stop.
Just the first, the first one.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep.
This is a summarized statement. It says intergovernmental joint powers. I'm not sure people will know what that means, and what it's really referring to is there's bolding down below, and I think bolding would help here. So if we bolded
Mhm.
mandated and then intergovernmental collaboration instead of joint powers, because I think it's what it talks about now is, you know, may jointly cooperate, maybe cooperation, but
Yep.
and so this joint powers thing, you know, I just don't think people will know. So if we bolded mandated and bolded intergovernmental cooperation, that would be clearer for people, I think.
Sure. That makes sense. Any objections?
Nope.
Great. Do you want me to take notes of this, Ken? Or
To be honest, Julian, yes, I'm
Right.
not,
Yep.
to be honest, I'm not really following.
yes, just
I'm not
fine.
able to do this in real time.
Yep. No problem. Can you repeat the suggestion, Andy, so I can get it in my notes?
Sure.
To
Bold
mandated, go ahead.
bold mandated, and then change joint powers to cooperation, and bold intergovernmental cooperation.
Join, bold, and move the joint powers. Great.
So
Okay.
yeah, mandated
Yep,
would
I
be
got
bold, and then intergovernmental cooperation. I don't have anything else on this page, but other
Okay.
people.
Yeah, I'm just gonna scroll and feel free, folks, to stop me. I just wanted to flag this because we have new wording from the Collins Center, Ken, that I'll send to you if you don't have it already, just to put in here that will help.
It's rationale.
It is both language and rationale.
On this one, then, I think we should have something bolded for each one so people can just sort of get
Yeah.
what the thing is about. So this one I would bold part-time employment.
The Collins, here, I'll read out exactly. The Collins sent this and has it in bold. So if we just insert what what Collins sent, it will be quite easy. And I know Collins didn't send it to everyone.
No.
This should have gone in the packet, but basically they have it bolded and very clear language provided for this. I think it's in your email, Andy.
Yeah,
It
I
was
included
sent-
it.
Right.
It looked like a good description, so
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
Great. So we'll put that in there. Revisit. Okay. this
Then I
looks-
would bold majority vote on this
Yep.
one.
Yep. Okay.
Hello, everyone. Sorry I'm late.
Hi, Marcus. Glad you can hear us. We have approved the minutes and are midway through approving the initial report.
Great, thank you.
There was minimal feedback subcommittee and outreach subcommittee updates. Okay, so
Number
This is-
9, we might
Yep.
want to say, call this require finance committee or something like that. Add to section E doesn't really say much.
Yeah.
okay, at least 3 meetings.
Yeah,
Yep, I would bold 3 because it's increasing the number of meetings.
yeah.
But
Or it could just
is
be
this-
district meetings because there's a variety of things in there, but whatever.
Wait, is that number 9 you're talking about?
Number 10
10?
now.
10,
10.
okay. So we're
Move
gonna,
the finance, I would just explicitly say that it gives the finance committee broader scope and authority.
Well, that's in the rationale, but maybe just this one would be move finance committee definition,
Yeah,
hold it.
that way they at least see it when they're reading. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Okay,
And this next one we talked about,
yeah.
get
Yep.
rid of that charter language and
Yep.
change it to 5.5B, I guess, or somehow indicate that if we move that it's 5.5B that we would be moving to 2.8, and this is the language. I don't know, but
yep. Right to postpone.
Yeah. bold.
Yeah, this should be bolded. The other thing I would just say is this explicitly asking for a second, or are we suggesting that it be more than a second required to postpone?
I think this was a second.
Yeah, we just asked for a second.
Okay, okay.
And yeah,
Read at 2 meetings. That's good to be bolded.
Yeah.
And we have language from the Collins about.
Yeah. This is just
Not a sentence from the Collins.
incredibly broad. 17 through 20, or maybe even through just 17 through 19.
yeah. I
This
mean,
is just very broad. There's no.
we have
language.
we have proposals for
Yeah.
We almost want to add something that says like
Language
with 3-year
forthcoming.
terms you can't stagger. 3-year terms would
Yeah.
require spring vote and 4-year terms could happen, but in November with special act, or, you know, something to let
I'm
people
just
know.
adding
Required to
language
link
for coming 17 through 19. I would highlight our bold mandate constituent meetings.
Yeah. And
It's
maybe
great
move
idea.
that, maybe move that up next to number 10, because we already have a suggestion in number 10 for constituent meetings. Maybe those two should go together.
Yeah, especially because it doesn't have a home. Yeah.
Mhm.
So 19 and
Provide-
10 would go together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, why was this red, Ken? Do you have any explanation here?
Sorry, I don't have
There's
the
no problem.
clarification.
There's a question in the far right.
Is
Two
this
questions.
meant to add to section?
2.2.
I believe it would be revising 2.9 because that's the appointment authority. Okay. 2.9.
I mean, we can always just, yeah, make it a statement. Either add a section D or revise to, you know, 2.9, whatever.
Okay.
A lot of these are just sort of finding something to bold.
Yeah, this is fine.
Could go back up to the resident advisory committee. That was just below what we were just talking about. Is this because people want to have the interviews be public of open meeting law, or the resident advisory committee meetings? Because the resident advisory committee only meets about once or twice a year, and an individual from our committee sits in on the interviews, and I'm wondering if this is. I
But-
thought we were already. I'm on that. I thought we were already subject to open meeting law.
You're
I think-
a resident advisory committee, as far as I know, is a committee that the manager appoints to help him with
Interviews.
managing the town. So it is not subject to the open meeting law.
But we act as if it is. I mean, we have public's comment, which we've never
But
had
all your
anybody.
meetings get posted like every
Yeah.
other meeting.
Right,
It's
and
just that the interviews themselves don't get.
That doesn't
get
mean
posted.
that you can't do that.
Right, okay,
What it means is the town manager committees are not subject to the open meeting law. If one of the committees or any of the committees feel that they need to do that, then they can simply do that.
No idea.
But
Yeah.
if
Well,
they
that's
don't,
why it's clarified.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's good to be clear. I mean, I suspect somebody who mentioned that wants the interviews to be subject to open meeting law, which of course they aren't never going to be. And only because only one of us, our committee, sits in on those interviews, so we're not a quorum by any means.
And I mean, they're technically special municipal employees. I guess.
Yeah, right. Anyway,
Okay.
Um,
we
number
just had our annual meeting.
number 26. That's like the same as number 17. So we should just say see number 17.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Yep. Okay. Yep. That's purple. That's probably why, but we're getting rid of the.
Yeah.
Okay. 5. This is lengthy. This should be bolded. This is a pretty major change.
Replace BCG as currently written.
Yeah. Okay. The rethink timing. I wish we could give them a date that, like, rather than just rethink.
Maybe that's what we come up with for the preliminary.
In the prelim. Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Do you want to add in there then, date additional something in the preliminary, or so that people don't just think,
It's a
"What the
good
hell are you
idea.
doing?"
Yeah. Yes, exactly. What was 5? Okay.
Number 34.
Add.
What add
Provide-
question mark means?
Yes. This, I don't know what it means, but we voted on this, so it's a yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the question is whether whether it's legal, right?
Yes, and I'm pretty sure we found out that it was because Boston did it, but it was just new. But we'll look. It'll be interesting to see the Collins Center advice on this.
Okay, just one thing to note, that the Boston is frequently an exception to everything else in the state. So, because Boston has some authority, doesn't mean that the legislature would have extended it to everybody else.
Do we want to instead of say add new budget items, say increase budget items? Because it could be just, it might not be a new item, it might just be
It
adding.
might, yeah, I would say I would agree. Let's amend to increase, and that will sound better.
Increase
too.
budget items, yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe the rationale should say something like checking if legal or something like that.
Yeah,
But
I'm in
if
agreement.
something would have to be decreased if they're adding it and it can't
yes,
change the
Yeah,
sum.
that's why it says, well, not increasing the sum of the total budget.
Right.
I guess we
Yeah.
could
But they
add
could
I
add-
increase.
Add and subtract. Town meeting used to do that.
Yeah, just gonna put IE decrease
something else.
proportionally
Or just change,
slash take.
adjust. This could be one word like adjust, change,
I'm just gonna
modify.
say decrease proportionally, because that will make it clear, like, say theoretically, the council couldn't say, we want to give 150,000 to this agency, but we're only gonna take 100,000 from this agency, because then they're pulling 50,000 out of thin air.
Well, town meeting did that.
What, Bernie? Hard to hear you.
Can't hear you.
Yeah, well, the
Can't-
thing to keep in mind with town meeting is it didn't have to produce a balanced budget.
But
Right.
we've gone,
The town had to
here's
have
the
a
thing.
balanced budget by the time the town needed to set the tax rate. So, yeah, that may well be true of the council as well. So town meeting didn't have to produce a balanced budget, and town meeting also was limited. Any town meeting is also limited in how much they can increase and decrease. I got into this with the former town attorney of Amherst about this stuff. So I think we're going to, whatever we say here, we're going to refer it to our attorney.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, great. Clarify.
So you're just going to add bolding for each of these things, right?
Okay, yeah.
And number
then-
39 and number 40 are covered more specifically in 41. So I don't know if we want to just leave 41 in or say see number 41, or I don't know, but I don't know that we need to say, one says extend the time and the other one says increase the time, and then we have a specific suggestion in 41. So
Yeah,
I guess
I got it. Yeah. Okay. So
but it's more
I
detailed. So I don't know.
put C41. Yep, I got that.
Okay.
This says revise measures ineligible for voter veto to include, but then it says delete exceptions. So it's,
Those are two different things.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. okay, resident vote should be, that's gonna be, I mean, it's a good idea, I just am trying to think logistically how that you'd have to round a percentage because the council's 13 members and the people who vote could be, thousands of people.
Is that, I'm trying to understand this. Does that mean if it's like requires a 2/3 vote for a zoning change, to veto it would require a 2/3 vote, or killing it would require, or not, would only require a 1/3? I'm just not quite sure. I think the challenge is, or the problem they're trying to solve is, if the council has to vote 2/3 to change, say, zoning or to approve borrowing, that a voter veto could reverse that with just a majority vote, unless
Yes,
it's saying
that's-
you need to reverse it with the same percentage. Or
Yes,
something.
so take the school vote or the
Yeah.
library vote, it would be 2/3. So yes.
Yeah.
Simultaneous translation. Yeah. Require timely. Yep. Okay. And we don't suggest anything besides, we don't suggest what should be added. So it just tells them to add, but it doesn't say what.
In those cases, we'd probably hope that the Collins Center could give us some language.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Ken.
One of the things about the public comment piece.
Ken, hold on. Ken has his hand raised, Bernie.
I'm sorry.
No problem.
Just a point of clarification. When you guys were talking about bolding things, what does that mean?
It
makes
just
it-
literally the font italic bold, like, you know what I mean?
So it's easy to read, so people will
Just-
read it and
it's
they'll get
just
what
a
they,
grammatical type
To
thing.
bold a phrase in like at the beginning, there's bolded phrases,
Uh-huh.
and then it stops being bolded. So
Like-
you have to read the whole thing, as opposed to, oh, this is about voter veto, or this is
Like
about
highlight, bold, you know
simultaneous
what I mean?
translation. So just, yeah.
it's like underlining something to give like a
Yeah.
hint of what it's about to help the reader.
Yeah, you could just go to the first page, Julian, and just highlight what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I consider all these our children, so I don't want to pick a favorite. So I'm trying to make sure we're not drawing eyes to something that
Yeah, it's like this.
we're not editorializing.
No,
Yeah,
No,
sorry, my view, I see no difference whatsoever, and I'm not sure why that is. So that's why I was confused. You guys are talking about
Okay.
bolding, and I don't see any bolding. Okay.
Bernie and then Raphael.
Well, I'm just wondering what public comment, if in fact public comment is formal
Bert?
part of minutes.
Can't hear you.
You gotta
I
have
can
the.
barely
Yeah, I'm
hear
sorry.
you.
I gotta. I gotta learn to lean into the mic here.
Yeah.
Whoa, your speaker's weird.
Try to get
Sound
really
like
close
you're
to
on-
the mic if
Out
you
there on that ocean behind you, you sound like you're way out there.
can.
All right. Does
There you
this
go.
sound okay?
Much
Can you hear
better.
me now? Can you hear
Now
me in the
you're
back?
not out to sea.
Okay. So long as you can hear me in the back, I'm all set. I'm wondering with this one why, and maybe we could just postpone this for discussion for another time, why you'd privilege public comment over, because statutes require a timely posting of the minutes. The old meeting law does. They don't say 24 hours. And public comment, that opening where people could show up and talk about anything, why that should be privileged over everything else, and why that even should be part of the meeting, other than say so-and-so appeared to speak about this, is a question I think we need to take up with either with council or with the Secretary of the Commonwealth.
Okay. Raphael?
Yeah, two things. I'm with Ken in terms of bolding things. I think this report is supposed to just have like draft changes to charter recommended. Some of that is here. I think in terms of our timeline, I think it's good that we have the original charter language in here. It'll help with the preliminary report. What I don't want to lose sight of is we have this list of suggestions to consider. How are we going to reduce this number? What's our process? So we need to really surface that and be clear about what's our process in terms of making decisions about what stays, what goes. So it would be great to carve out some time to be clear about that. And just reiterating what I keep saying, like maybe Julian can weigh in, but we really need to be clear about like who is making these decisions about what will end up in the final or preliminary report. So you just want to keep that on our radar. It's great that we're paying attention to language tonight. Some folks have engaged with Collins in terms of recommended language, but I think this report is much about like recommended draft changes.
Great. Okay. Just looking here.
Just
Andy? Yeah,
my hand up.
sorry, I didn't see your hand.
Yep. I thought we talked about that we were gonna wait a couple of weeks to start meeting, but then we were going to review the. I mean, we're gonna get this out now,
Yep.
and then we're basically talking about formatting. So, or any major things that just need clarification. But we talked about getting the feedback from Collins and reviewing each of these things with that feedback, and then I guess voting, right? So that within 2 meetings or whatever, a couple of meetings after that, we're going to have a preliminary report that does winnow this down based on the feedback from the Collins Center.
Let's just name it. Yeah. So I think like we should be clear about so recommendations from Collins, and then these individual members are just making decisions about how to whittle it down based on.
No, we would have to just vote on each one.
Yeah. But
Mhm.
there are some processes that involve a little more, perhaps, how can I say this? Maybe you're leaning into like quantitative elements when it comes to like the public. Like the public has a lot of support for X. I'm not sure we're there, but let's just name what our process is. So individual members are just weighing in. Correct?
Well, collectively we're weighing in, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, then we're going to have a forum on the stuff that's been sort of vetted by the consultants.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, we'll probably hear of things that should be that people think we missed, which we also need to consider about
Yeah.
putting in. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I just think in where there's timing elements in play, but I think, and I'm not saying we should consider this, but I think there are ways that these processes could sort of play out where here's the list, the public knows, weigh in, and for some that's a part of the rationale. So if folks are weighing in and they're saying we like X, and there are a number of folks who are saying we like X, my rationale might be large percentage of the public loves X. I'm voting on that. That's just how Sub might approach this. But I want to just name what our approach is. Yeah.
Of course. Okay. Does that finish us off for this document?
I also want to know, Ken and Erica, do you all want additional help with editorial stuff, or you feel you're good?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that, Rob? Be specific.
So for instance, like form, format, grammar mechanics, that type of stuff. Does it matter?
In terms of like the initial, like the
Yeah.
initial report, that part.
Yeah, the initial report, like the cover page stuff. Like, I
Hey,
think there are ways to enhance, but I don't know if you feel like you have the time.
that's it. Thank you for
Yeah.
saying it for me. We don't have time. That should absolutely be a part of the next report. And that hurts me because it hurts me to say that because I'm an editor by heart and I want it to be better, but
Yeah.
we're just under the gun here. And
I would say, Ken, let's think about the preliminary report and sort of
Right.
100%.
process with the writing. And two of you handled a lot. It's a lot that you took on. Appreciate it. But there could be a different process that sort of helps with that editing. Like doing it here. I saw you say like, I don't necessarily feel like I could do this here. I feel the same way in terms of like the specificity and sort of flow clarity of a document like this. Doing it in this format it's tricky. So let's think about that for the next report.
Okay,
Um,
agreed.
I'm willing to
Meg-
help.
Thank
Meg,
you.
I agree strongly with Raphael. And thinking ahead, who might write something like a kind of framing introductory document or the kind of ways of packaging this that
Yeah.
possibly others of us could help with, Ken. I'm just agreeing with Raphael. And all of you, different ones of us have done different things, but this is the time for us all to pitch in. If it's helpful, not if it's just more chaos.
great.
Like, oh, Raphael and Meg want to help. Man, what are we going to do about that?
Um,
We have to give them something to do.
yeah,
No, but I do think like the folks who took it on, Ken and Erica, it's a lot of work. And when it comes to like writing, it's tricky in terms of flow if there's not clarity. And a lot of people are
Right.
jumping in. That's just tricky. Uh, and I would say like my recommendation would be, I know people said, let's meet weekly, but for the writing of a report like this, maybe we need to carve out a little more time and collectively sit with this for a longer period of time. We had a retreat where we did some voting, but maybe for preliminary report, we need to just carve out some longer chunks of time where people could hunker down. I don't know.
yeah. Andy,
I just thought we also have that one pager of the
yeah, I want
all
to get
items.
to that.
Can we look at that too?
Yeah, that's what I was sort of thinking. Ken,
I want to make it like sort of very clear, and I am speaking for Erica when I say this because I know that we've discussed this. Erica and I do not see ourselves as the report writers for the preliminary report and the final report. It doesn't mean that we're going to recuse ourselves completely from those processes, but we do not want to be seen as the ones who are going to pick up the preliminary report and do that.
great.
Makes
So
sense.
just to make that very
That
clear.
good boundary setting. Yep, great. I will move that we approve the initial report with the amendments. I will send the amendments to Ken, Erica, Raphael. Get me back a sort of get me back the documents we have with those amendments, maybe by the end of the week, and I'll send it off to the town council. Is that a plan?
You mean end of what week? This week?
The end of next week.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, end of next
All
week.
right, that's
Yeah,
fine. That's fine. That's fine.
great.
Ken, you're fine with that in terms of
No,
you jumping in the mix at this point?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a problem. I had a problem with like Eric and I were quite sober when we made this decision, but we really wanted it out of here.
It's
like,
a lot. It's a lot.
tomorrow. We wanted it out tomorrow.
It's
How
a
How
lot.
about how about yesterday?
There's not that much change, right? I mean, it's just bolding a couple things and deleting a little language.
take half an hour.
But are we bolding things, Ken?
I still don't understand why. I mean, if we're bolding things to like for eyes to catch,
Yeah,
to sort of like be catching things, then you got to do it everywhere.
Yeah. Like,
that's the point.
You do it
You started
everywhere.
doing it. You started
Mhm.
doing it, so that it should be everywhere. It won't take
Yeah.
long.
No, it wouldn't take long.
I'm happy to do it if that helps, but
I don't want to beleaguer, but the reason for bolding things, Andy, are
Well,
what?
it's
hold
so
on.
people can understand
folks
what the point
comfortable
of each.
With this,
This
and
is
if
what
not,
the cover sheet is for skimming.
are folks comfortable with this? If not, that's okay. But that And to make it easier and quicker, this weekend, I can make the edits and send it to town council if we approve me to make the edits and send it. Do you want to do it that way?
No.
Sure. No.
Oh.
Okay.
Sure, no? Okay,
Oh,
people
no.
disagree. Marcus?
No, I just think we either go one way or the other. Right now, the document has some bolding and some not.
Yeah.
So it just needs to be blank or fully bolded. So
Yeah. I don't really care, but I think there is something to having it bolded just for sake of reading. Bernie?
I agree with Ken's point that there's a cover sheet for people to skim and then refer back into the more detailed proposed recommendations. As I'm listening to the discussion and looking at the document, I'm getting more and more uneasy about calling attention to certain pieces. I understand that you want to attract the attention of the reader, but I'm uneasy about highlighting certain pieces. It's a little bit too much of editorializing, I think.
That's what it feels like to me is editorializing.
Andy?
That's fine. I just noticed that they were bolded on the first, that certain phrases were bolded to help the reader on the first page.
So,
And so I was like, well, why aren't we doing that elsewhere? But we could
Oh.
also just not bold them on everywhere and just have it be, that might be easier.
Yeah,
So if we
sorry, I absolutely don't remember seeing that. I mean, it was there, but it wasn't something that caught my eye, and
So
it
if
was
we-
not meant to suggest that we should be bolding everything. I
Okay.
think that's the miscommunication.
so if we don't bold anything, we just don't bold anything, that leaves only like 3 or 4 little wording changes. I understand the feeling that folks want to get this out and done with, and I appreciate that. How would we feel if me and Raphael made those small wording changes and then sent it to the town council by the end of next week, approving this report?
I actually don't see it as I'd like to help with the cover page of the beginning of this. And not a lot, but just some recommendations. And I think if Ken and Erica want eyes on it, I don't think that's a big deal. I think the things we just reviewed, it would be great to have the additional Collins Center stuff here, but I don't know where we are with that. So I don't know.
Sorry, sorry, go ahead, Julie. I'm sorry.
No, go right ahead. Go. I'm interrupting you, Ken. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say I feel and I'm gonna speak for Erica as well. I really think she would agree with me that yeah, it would be great to have the Collins Center stuff here, but we don't have the time for that.
Yeah.
We just don't. We gotta move this out as it is. And I unfortunately am thinking about like the discussion in the town council where they're like, they don't get an extension. We need their final report in 2 weeks. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, you want a piece of garbage.
Yeah, really,
so-
that was so ridiculous. Well, sorry.
So I'm like, but I took that away and I'm sensitive to it. So we should not wait any longer than we have to. I completely respect the ability, or sorry, the offer to help to format and make it better. By the end of next week, it's way too much time to me. And that's again, I'm speaking for me and Erica right now.
I have to agree with Ken. I think like there is a time for detailed grammatical
Thank you.
revisions, and as much as I would love to do that in an ideal world, we're not in an ideal world, and we need to get this report out to the council so we can move on to the next thing and have our committee work more efficiently, which is something, like it or not, we've been criticized for not working efficiently. So I would ideally like to get this approved tonight, whether a little bit more editing happens before we send it to the council or not, and who volunteers to do that. I'm happy to discuss. Bernie?
Yeah, my suggestion would be that, Julian, if you feel comfortable doing that, to make the changes that were discussed, as we discuss the suggestions under consideration, that document to make the changes. I'm assuming that Ken has plugged into the narrative, the dates that we agreed to. Put them together and along with that cover sheet and get them to the council as soon Monday.
Yes, that's my hope.
You know, that's, I have to, as much as I bristled at some of the stuff the council said, I have to respect their opinion. They want to see this and they want to see this done well and they want to see it done timely. So I think, you know, we've got a really good initial work product here. Kudos to Ken and Erica. And if we have to do a little tweaking, do just a little tweaking and get it out the door.
Yes, I don't often say this, but 110% of what Bernie said is spot on in my opinion. Andy?
Yeah, I just want to be clear. I mean, I'm sorry for all the bolding discussion, but I just thought that was just, you know, very easy formatting. And without that, there's not a lot of changes, but there are the ones that are marked in red. So those, you know, we're referring to the wrong section of the charter that needs to be fixed.
My proposal, I'm comfortable doing it, is approve this and I will go through and change the stuff in red and one or two other things that we have talked about as a committee that I have taken notes on since I've already taken notes that I understand. It will be a pain for me to send someone else my notes and explain it to them because they will not understand what I have jotted down on a piece of paper. And if we want, someone else can review it afterwards before we send it to the council. But that's my proposal. That's where I'm at. I think that's an appropriate next step. Meg?
I agree with you. A couple of quick things. Bernie said the council wants it well done and timely. I'd say some people wanted it timely and some wanted it well done. They weren't necessarily.
Yes.
They weren't the same people, but that's okay.
Yeah, they weren't.
I think the idea of writing some framing thing is a great idea, but not now. This is something we can mull over and think about when we do our final kind of a, I hate to use the word, maybe not the word preamble, because that sounds like part of the document, but a kind of a framing essay about the spirit of what we heard, but not now. I think that's an interesting idea for later.
And if Raphael wants, I can run this through like Grammarly or ChatGPT just so it doesn't look horrible.
I wouldn't let it change it.
I wouldn't change the report. I just make the changes that we talked about.
Yeah.
In the suggestions section and let it go.
Great. Raphael, Ken, and Andy?
Yeah, if Julian, you're down with that, I'm cool with that too. I
Yeah.
think fact checking the suggestions under consideration important. It seems like people here feel pressed about timing. It makes sense to me. But let's just circle back to the plan for preliminary report. Let's just be clear about that. But a lot of good work here. Appreciate the work that's done. Thanks.
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't.
I am going to say though, I'm going to say like, I have to say, because people keep bringing up the council. And these processes though, in some towns aren't quick. Maybe some people are about expediency, but I'm not sure that's the only thing that's important in this process. I'll just say that.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I wasn't saying, oh God,
I didn't say you
was
said it. I didn't
saying
say
it at my email because it keeps changing my screen. You guys probably saw that when I'm screen sharing. So it's not you, it's my email.
But thanks folks for working on this.
Ken and then Andy.
Just to be clear that all the shading and coloring that's there now needs to be removed. when these, I mean, those red parts are really like to draw your eyes and say something's up here. So the final report will have no shading whatsoever. It's all gonna be
Yeah.
boring black and white.
I'm gonna copy paste this all into a Google sheet, highlight it, make the edits, put it back in a PDF, and send it to Lynn and Athena and the other town council members.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
No problem. Well, thank Ken and Erica. I'm doing an
Yeah,
hour
thank
worth of
Ken
work
and
to
Erica.
put all this together.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Andy,
Yeah, I mean, I have another comment, but first, I don't think we should worry about the time frame for the council, because they've already given us the time frame. We have until January 5th. So whatever we need to do for the intervals between now and then, they've already approved it. So a couple of people didn't like that, but the body voted to give us till January 5th. So we're fine. But I also agree that this thing should go out yesterday. So that may be inconsistent, but whatever. I think we should do what we need to do and not worry about anything other than getting the final thing to the council.
have the committee be aware that there will be an equally long email to this report written by Mandy Joe responding.
So
Can't wait. Can't wait.
The other thing I wanted to bring up, though, is that we had said in our initial letter to the public that we would include things that were not, if we heard certain themes that were not within the original scope, that we would include a section on those. So if we've heard, if there are certain themes that we've heard, whether it's transparency or whether it's
Participation.
people want a mayor or whatever, I think somehow we need to collect that kind of stuff for the final report.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's I think that's always been in play.
Okay.
I completely agree, and I would love for it to be in the final report. It probably won't make its way into the initial report, but that's sort of a third thing that can make the final report final. Okay. Do we want to vote to approve this with the amendments that I will make and send to the council? And I'll promise to do that by Tuesday.
They meet Monday if you want it. Well, they're not going to talk about it Monday. Never mind.
Yeah, they're not going to talk about it Monday.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Great. Thanks, Meg. Okay. Myself, I'm an I. Andy?
Aye.
Raphael?
Aye.
Ken?
Aye.
Meg?
Aye.
Bernie?
Yes.
Marcus?
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you, guys. Perfect. We will be sending this off. So next time someone on the street runs up to you and says, "You haven't done anything," show them this document.
Are you hanging out with Julian?
Nobody's running up to me on my street, so just fair.
Yeah, we had a bear in the yard today, actually. At Scat, we had Scat right in the.
Oh wow! Yeah.
How cool.
Anyway, I digress. So next on our agenda is the discussing Collins Center feedback. I will screen share the document we have, if I can find it, in our prior documents. The only other thing that we sort of have already discussed preliminary report, plan, and timeline. Do folks feel comfortable having the Collins Center feedback be our last agenda item?
So
Meg?
there are two people in the audience. I don't know if we want to have a second
Oh,
public comment,
thank you. That's a great idea.
or at least
yes.
there were. Maybe there's only
Well,
one
now.
now.
There's one. I'll have a separate public comment before we adjourn. Just remind
Okay.
me. I will make sure to do that. That's a good catch, Meg. So we won't have preliminary report and timeline. We'll discuss Collins Center feedback, have public comment, and then we'll adjourn. That should probably take the next 40 minutes. Let me just find.
Didn't Andy send it out a little earlier this
Yeah,
afternoon?
would you mind screen sharing, Andy, if that's possible?
Sure.
Okay, if not, that's okay.
I think, need to see which one it is. Yeah, I got it here.
Oh,
Thank
do.
you.
I have it too if you need it. So-
Great.
Let's see. Do you want to unshare the minutes? Or do I just start sharing?
No,
I'll stop sharing.
yeah, you put stop and then we go.
Oh, everyone got big.
Okay. Can you see that?
Yep.
Yes, thank you.
There were 2 Collins memos, right? One October 1st and one yesterday.
Yes,
This is the one that we've
the first one
in
is
a
the big
packet,
one.
so.
Yeah.
This is it. Thank you, Andy. Okay, so a lot of this is language. Some of it is sort of discussion. We'll just scroll article by article and folks can raise their hand if they have anything to point out.
So,
Could I ask a question? Sorry, go ahead, Andy. Sorry,
Yep.
I didn't raise my hand.
oh,
Raise my hand.
go ahead. I mean, do you want me to? I think Meg has a question.
Yeah, Meg, go ahead. Sorry.
So some of these things, as I read it over, they suggest going to KP Law. And my question was, how long will that take and how soon do we need to put things in, get their attention on some of these things?
It's a good question, and I do not know the answer, but it should be sent to them soon.
Because I know when we had the first charter commission,
Yep.
it took longer than we thought. And because of our timeline, we might want to flag things in this memo that we want to send to them sooner rather than later.
Yeah, we could send it to them now. Or we need to send it to them after Collins has their whole document.
Mhm.
So,
So
Andy?
this first one is basically, this is where somebody had suggested mandating intergovernmental cooperation, where, and in this case, they're saying including a directive in the charter to mandate regionalization may be too prescriptive for a charter provision. In its place, the committee could consider recommending a committee to discuss, to study and report back on regionalization opportunities, either by requiring it in the transition section of the charter or recommending it in the committee's report. So, I mean, right now we have language saying the town may cooperate, or the town is may exercise its powers to cooperate with any municipality or the state. And this one is the recommendation was to make that mandatory whenever it made sense, whenever it seemed like it would, offer benefits to the town. They seem to be saying that my sense is that this says that the current language would be sufficient, but we might also want to have a committee study on study regionalization opportunities. So I'm just translating what they're saying. So.
I'll just editorialize that I think having a committee to study this would be a great idea. I can think of, we've had discussions about Granby joining the regional schools. The state doesn't maintain certain sections of Route 9 and 116 that we could get their assistance doing the potholes and paving. And like Leverett and Wendell, I think they combine their police forces. So all I'm saying is there's creative things that a committee could explore if we had the time. So I think having a committee would be a really good compromise here.
So it sounds like keep the language as it is, but put something in the transition section suggesting a committee on regionalization.
That's what I would support. Yeah.
Anyway, that's what they're suggesting anyway. The next one is the public forum definition. And the problem that was run into was basically, we said it needs to be 50% the public talking. And if only 2 people show up and they don't have much to say, then you're sort of, anyway, it becomes a mathematical thing that doesn't work well. So they're suggesting, they suggest language here that's in red.
Mhm.
Great. This makes sense to me. I mean,
Designed to facilitate two-way communication between the town government
Yeah.
and residents.
it makes a lot more sense because it also explicitly says like this is a conversation, not a
Right,
talk at us.
right.
So this seems fairly unremarkable and probably useful.
But it gets at the point, which is people want to have a conversation.
Yeah.
And also people want them to make a comment. They might want the council to respond.
We originally, I think, said something about two-way communication, but it was clunky. So
I
Mhm.
agree, Meg.
multiple member bodies. They're saying, what are they saying? Oh, this is about whether the manager appointed bodies such as the resident advisory committee must be confirmed by the council. Committee may charter
Yeah.
language in section 3.3C appears to state that the residents advisory committee is not subject to council confirmation under 211B by the plain language. It requires town manager to establish a residents advisory committee, but the Collins Center recommends the committee seek a legal opinion on this issue if the matter is in dispute. The committee could clarify the appointment authority for the town manager, advisory bodies, and the definition of multiple member bodies by making the following change. And then they suggest the phrase multiple member bodies shall not include the residents advisory committee or any other committee established by the town manager for the purpose of advising the town manager on functions within the town manager's authority. So that's language they're suggesting.
And that's, I think, a reasonable way of handling that.
So then section D is about the definition of clarifying the term measure, which is currently defined as any bylaw, order, resolution, or other vote or proceeding adopted or that the town council might adopt. It's fairly broad. The committee would need to assess which items it would be interested in including in the term measure and the reasons for making such exclusions. The project team does not have enough information to opine on this definition. Although it appears the question is being asked to determine which items are subject to the full majority provisions of the charter in Article 2, which they get into down below. Definition of emergency. We have a definition in quotes here. When emergencies are defined in charters, Amherst definition is nearly identical to definitions in most other council manager charters. This language has been defined by courts and vetted by the Attorney General's office. Project team does not recommend making any changes without consulting the town's attorneys.
I'll just add something here, which is, I guess it's a question we would ask KP Law. I don't know, but I just don't know, and maybe this has been defined somewhere else that I'm unaware of, but I don't know how the difference between a October snowstorm, the council needs to authorize emergency money for clearing the roads or whatever, and we're missing a grant deadline or a financial deadline or something like that. Something
Yeah, that was one of the
the
things that
public
came up.
isn't thinking 911. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It was poorly worded, but you get what I'm saying.
Totally. That was in the list that we have.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe we can just talk to KP Law about that.
These are definitional things, so they're kind of
Yeah.
dry, but so then the full council, the question was whether votes, and they talk about votes being requiring a majority of the full council, meaning 7 out of the 13 for a majority. In general, the project team recommends defining words in the sections where they're used when possible for clarity rather than the definition section. In this case, it would be appropriate to delete the definition in Article 1 and define it where it is referenced in Article 2. The definition of full council comes into play in the legislative section regarding council votes. So that seems fairly straightforward. Town employment of council members. They followed up on this one in the other memo that we got recently. So we might want to hold off until we can review that one.
Let's hold off on this because that can be included in the next packet. And I know not everybody has seen it, but once folks do see it, it'll come across as pretty straightforward and a pretty reasonable solution.
Yeah. Majority vote. So this is again the question about an affirmative vote by a majority of the full town council is what is currently in there.
And the question of abstentions.
Yeah.
Is this
Is
clear?
the question about, I mean, is the question about abstentions or how the abstentions are treated?
Yeah.
If they're treated as a no vote, that's an error. They're
Or they treat it as a reducing the quorum.
quorum.
I feel like reducing the quorum makes more sense, but they've been treated as a no vote before for political reasons, shall we say.
Because someone might abstain for a reason unrelated to opposing something.
Right. In fact, I have before on this committee.
I mean, that's
Like
the whole
they-
point of abstention, yeah. But yeah.
You're not prepared, you're not, or you're, yeah, you have a conflict of interest or,
Right, exactly. Yeah. No means no, abstain means meh.
Yeah.
means I don't vote. It
Yeah,
does, it might mean mixed or it
exactly.
might mean
Right, yeah, exactly.
I'm not voting
No, yeah, right,
because
no, exactly.
my wife is the one who's being hired or whatever.
Right. And it's also like, isn't it like a legal way to get out of conflicts of interest and stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly, like my wife is,
Right. Like, for example.
or my partner,
Yep.
or that's a contract with me.
Yep. And there's, didn't somebody's brother at UMass got in trouble about that?
No, it was no, it wasn't. It was a director. Anyway.
Yeah, didn't she hire her brother or
She
something?
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't
Tisk,
mention
tisk.
it at all. Yeah.
Wow, tisk tisk,
Yeah,
bad,
exactly.
bad.
And she was on the hiring committee, not
Yeah.
just like hired them. She was on the committee herself. Yeah.
Wow,
So this
Right.
these bullets here, I think, are the meat of this. They're saying that they need us to make a recommendation, and then they can give language. So the question is, when deciding whether to change the current charter language, the committee should consider whether the current requirements relating to an affirmative majority interfere substantially with the council's functions, such that the change is warranted. And then whether the committee recommends a change to permit passage of all measures, bylaws or otherwise, by an affirmative vote of a majority of members present at a meeting. So if a couple of people aren't there, then you need 6 people to pass it rather than 7. Or do you still need 7 people, even if a couple of people aren't there? So I don't know what the language in the charter says you need a majority of all the members to pass bylaws and things like that. But the suggestion that came from one of the counselors was saying you generally have most of the counselors there, and you get into this question about if people are abstaining or whether that counts or not. So they were suggesting a affirmative vote of a majority of members present. to make it simpler. But that's a judgment call on our part.
Okay, perfect.
It might be nice to have them present to discuss this, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to think here. Yeah, this makes sense. Okay.
But it's either we keep the language as is or we change it to say a majority of members present.
Right. I guess I'm in favor of changing it just to be clear about bylaws. Read it
So,
two meetings.
What we're walking through this, but are we gonna just sort of walk through it and then, or are we gonna ask them for to give us language on one or the other, or?
Yeah, I think we should ask them to give us language. I mean,
But they said that they need us to make a choice before.
yeah, I would say I personally support the second, but how do other folks feel?
I agree with you.
Okay, great.
I feel good. I feel okay with that. I mean,
Me too.
I think we just
I'm in
need a
agreement,
vote
yeah.
on one way or the other, but yeah.
I'm neutral.
Okay, so I guess we can ask Collins for the second, here. Next,
bylaws read at 2 meetings. That seems fairly straightforward.
yeah,
Oh, I guess we said that they should be read at 2 meetings, but then people are like, does that mean that there need to be 2 votes, or that they just need to present it in the first meeting and vote at the second one?
I think it's been interpreted as just present it because, and that works relatively well just because it can get out in the community and have some time for like public comment and whatnot.
So they're saying the charter appears to be clear, but the following alternative language may be used if the committee finds the current language unclear. No ordinance will be passed finally on the date it is introduced, except in the case of emergency measures as provided in section 2.
I don't think it needs clarity. It's been working okay, but if it makes folks feel more comfortable, we can.
I don't remember the language, but this seems like a belt and suspenders approach. So
Yeah.
I don't see a problem with it.
Yeah.
So that's what they've given us so far.
Great.
Is there,
Um,
do we need to sort of?
Are there any other decisions that we have to make in here?
Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah.
I mean, looking back at them, the first one, they're saying don't make it a requirement, but maybe have that study committee. Or do we want to say, yeah, that's the direction we want to go in, or?
Yeah, why not we give a thumbs support study committee?
Sure.
Yes. Okay, great. I'm in agreement.
Mhm.
It's an excellent idea.
The public forum, do we have language? Do we like the language?
I
Yeah.
support.
I think
Yeah, I agree.
dropping the time frame requirement is fine. It makes a lot of sense to get rid of it and just say, there'll be at least 2 times, and again, the council can, at its will, say we're going to have a public forum on this topic as part of this meeting. They can do that. But the language that they offer for public forums, I think is fine.
Everybody, so are we just consensusing that one? Those
Sure.
ones?
Fine.
Yeah.
I'll
Thumbs.
defer to you, Julie.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I would say this makes sense to me if we just keep it as is. Sorry.
The language that they're proposing.
Yeah, just keep it. That makes sense. Multiple. This is basically just adopting that language. I'm comfortable with that.
Are people generally good with that?
Mhm.
Yes,
Great.
fine.
Yes, absolutely.
Measure, that's fine.
They're basically saying what?
What's an emergency?
Right, they would need to assess which items.
They're basically saying we're fine, honestly.
Yeah, that's sort of how I interpreted it.
Okay.
Right? I mean, everybody else is kind of doing it. You're fine, unless you're
Mhm.
super special and you want to be go your own way. I
Well,
mean,
that's the emergency one, right?
right.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
The measure one, I'm not sure what they're saying.
The measure one again is just like it's fine.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
interesting, but I mean, I honestly, I would like to sit on it for a little bit and just to kind of think it through because there's been, when we were talking about it at the retreat and all this, we had a lot of issues with measures, but I don't know. I kind of want to sit on this just personally and think about it a bit more. But
yeah.
In
I
our chart, we do have the discussion talks about the different types of measures. So
I feel like with both of these, they're sort of basically saying it's okay as is.
yeah.
I think committee members should send to me because I have questions on emergency. What we can ask KP Law, what we can sort of be like, hey, what does this mean? Give us some clarity. But I feel like if it's fine from Colin's point of view, I think it's okay. Maybe that's not the right approach to take, but yeah.
And if
it's okay as being a normal, but an average. It's okay
Like
with
I guess it goes back to the question of if everyone goes 70 on 91, can you go 72?
all right, so this one is it may be fine. It may be that we need to think about it some more, measure.
Yeah.
Emergency, they're saying it's basically fine. The question that came up is what, other than a storm or something or a flood, what is missing
Right.
a grant an emergency?
Right.
And and then we talked a little bit about the full council, which actually they were saying to delete this section and just define it in the next section.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. Are folks comfortable with that?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
And then the
We'll
town
discuss
employment
it.
we'll talk about next time because we have a specific memo on that. Bylaws read at 2 meetings, sort of extra, but
I
why
think
not?
we sort of decided just to not do the extra.
Oh, I was thinking maybe
Oh,
we
we
just,
decided to?
maybe
Sorry.
just do
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, sure.
It's,
Yep.
it's like Andy said, it's the belt and suspenders kind of.
Yeah, okay. Yep. That makes sense. That's fine.
That's it.
Okay, excellent. Public comment. Does anyone in the public? I just see Darcy. Darcy, would you like to make a comment? Raise your hand. No? Okay. Future agenda items. I think obviously we'll be putting what Colin sends me on the agenda. We'll be putting the 2.3 issue for the public employees on the agenda, and we'll be putting the preliminary report on the agenda. Do folks have anything to add?
No.
Nope. Excellent.
No.
Topics not anticipated. I don't have anything. Does anybody else?
It's like that we're getting that report out.
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, this is like really, really good, really good.
Mhm.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
We're doing stuff.
Well, I mean,
Someone-
don't make it sound like that. We have always been doing stuff. We are
Right.
just actually showing that we've been doing
We're
stuff.
seeing the
Yeah,
fruits
doing
of our
from-
labor.
We've been
The
doing,
perspective of your
the
friends
charter
and
commission.
family when you
Yeah.
have dinner, tell them we have something.
The charter commission also was tight on time at the end, right, Andy? Remember? So, but Julian, are you going to tell Athena that we have a meeting every week now?
Yes, I
Since
will.
she's involved in that, I hope.
I will email her the dreaded news.
Great.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Okay. Excellent. Bernie?
Yes.
Myself, I'm an I. Andy?
Yes.
Marcus?
Yes.
Raphael? Meg?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Have a great night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.